Steve.
What's this?
That's video of the time that friends used Narcan to save rapper Riggy Marz's life. He says that he barely survived more than a decade of drug addiction and is now using his second chance at life to make music and inspire others to make the change. His message is chronicled in a new album titled The Alvarado Diaries. That's a nod at a Los Angeles neighborhood where drug addiction and homelessness often intersect. Riggy Marz tells me that he has had stints chasing a high over in San Francisco's infamous Tenderloin district and was caught in a downward spiral of living in the streets, prison, and treatment at the hospital. Against all odds, he has broken the cycle and found sobriety. So joining me now to share his road to recovery and his new music is Riggy Marz himself. Thank you so much for being here in hopes of helping others do the same by sharing your story.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you're 34 years old and much of your youth involved using these lethal drugs that nearly claimed your life many times before you got to a better place. So how have you been using your past to make music today?
Like prior to getting sober, my music and lyrics were kind of all over the place. Like my life and mental health was. But like my nightmarish past, became my message and that I can express through music. My words are more powerful now, just because I've like lived through it, survived it, and have a clear head and can kind of fine tune the direction I'm trying to go with it. And people, I speak on relatable issues, and people love a redemption story.
And this is a problem far too many people are still experiencing. And rappers in the limelight often glamorize drugs, but your message really highlights the dark side of the consequences when people do get hooked. So what do you want people to better understand about addiction through your experience in music?
That it's not like sexy or cool, like, Hollywood movies and the media makes it out to be. And it's addiction's a progressive and fatal disease. People die from it. It affects everybody involved, the family members, everybody. And, I guess if you're struggling with addiction and you feel hopeless, like there's no way out, there is a solution. And, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
And you mentioned that there were points that you lived in the streets. We recently saw homeless encampments over in Echo Park in the LA area where you shot your music video cleared out. That sparked outrage as community members came out to protest, demanding that there be a plan in place to shelter these people before pushing them out. We, of course, have a very similar challenge here in the Bay Area. So what would you share with people who might not really grasp why addicts continue to use and then end up in the streets despite resources that are offered for them to stop?
Honestly, there aren't enough resources. Society and the judicial system criminalize addicts, and, overlook them when it's really a mental health issue in a pandemic. Most addicts are dual diagnosed. It's a mental health thing. Like, and nowadays it's like you need really, really good insurance or like $100,000 to even go to treatment. You know what I mean? And there's not enough like public or free resources for them.
And so everybody's different. Of course, there are many ways and reasons why a person starts using or can't get out of it. You've described that effort as staring at a huge mountain and having a hard time seeing getting past it. So what worked for you to get across and be here today inspiring others to get sober? You have also helped other people in recovery too, my understanding.
For me, I just had to hit bottom on my own, for years it was the judge or like, my girlfriend or friends or whatever, like begging me to go. And I just really, I had to just hit my bottom. I had to stop placing blame on everybody else and come to terms with the fact that 99.9% of my problems were self-made, and I had to admit that, I was in fact suffering from a disease, the disease of addiction. And luckily, Music Cares Foundation reached out to me and helped me out with a scholarship to go to treatment. And, I utilized AA and the 12 steps and it completely changed my life. all the accomplishments in my life are only because I'm sober. Like my music career, my family, my friends, my happiness. It's rubbed off on friends of mine and stuff. Like my main dude I rap with, Lush One, is sober. Um, I wouldn't trade it for anything, man. Like I owe it all to like people giving me a chance and believing in myself and that I can do this thing.
And what would you tell other people who are on the edge of maybe trying a drug like heroin now that you have seen the outcome firsthand?
Just don't do it. It's not worth it. Um, you know, tell people how you feel. Like if you're hurting, like, people, especially with like men, there's like a stigma. It's like weak to like reach out or like ask for help. You know what I mean? And just, tell somebody about it. Like, and, take whatever, negativity you're feeling or like pain you're feeling and like put it into something positive, like art or, a hobby, whatever, but I hope with my music, at least, I can reach people and they can see it's not, I'm not like glamorizing the lifestyle. It's more just like, it's a nightmare. And I'm lucky to be alive. The survival rate of, heroin addicts is like 2% or something.
And in this picture that you shared with us, it looks like you're in a gurney at a hospital. Was that here in San Francisco, one of the times that you were coming here to use?
It was. I was coming down from Humboldt County back to LA and decided to get off the Greyhound bus and hit the Tenderloin. And I got some bad dope and had a kidney failure. I was in a coma for 11 days. I don't know what hospital that's at. I don't remember, but yeah, it was in San Francisco.
What's it like to look back at that picture and then the video that you shared of your friends trying to help you with Narcan, and then think back to all the things that you were involved with and now your new life?
It's mind blowing. And I keep those photos like just to remember, because I can't forget where I came from, and like if I'm having a bad day, like I can look at those pictures and see like how far I've come and like it's just so important to live in gratitude, because I had so many close calls and should not be here. But some divine source, has me here to make art.
And I truly believe in
Help
art
others.
being therapy, so it's very cool to see you using that, and then of course letting people know that they can turn to music and other artistic abilities in order to cope throughout the process.
The Alvarado Diaries is my diary, like of that. It's it took a lot out of me to write that. So you can look it up on Spotify, Apple, any major digital outlet and stream it. And I have a lot of other styles of music I make.
We're going to post that up on our website, cromford.com. Of course, you can listen to his album on any app store like Spotify and Apple Music, as mentioned there. And thank you just so much for your honesty and your openness. I know this is a very tough subject. A lot of people like to hide it. They might be embarrassed or ashamed by their past, but really, why did you want to open up, and what do you hope people take away from this?
I just hope it, can like motivate someone who's hurting. And, I just really try to be like an inspiration to others and help others. I feel better when I do that. I feel better about myself and like feel like I'm actually being useful in life.
Yeah, definitely, to say the least, and hopefully somebody out there really gets your message here. Before I let you go, is there anything else that you want people to understand? I know there's a lot of frustration here with San Francisco residents when they walk along the streets, they see the homeless, they see people shooting up. What do you want them to keep in mind as they take this all in?
I think that we should all come together and actually do something about the problem and, stop looking at those people like they're less than or just like nothing because, we all need to help each other and like some major changes need to happen to fix this issue. you
You
know.
had mentioned the
And not only
12-step
is it not only
program.
is it cleaning up the street, it's like you're helping others, you know. It's good karma, you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely. And you
It's
mentioned
like
the 12-step program and that really worked for you having a sponsor. What was it about having that relationship with somebody who was holding you accountable that worked for you?
just being able to be completely transparent with somebody, you know, somebody that's been through what I've been through, has felt what I've felt. And you know, like what the 12 steps did for me is like just help me get in tune with my spirituality, which was already there, just buried deep down. I like lost touch with that as a kid, you know. And to just figure out like the root of this, like, and it's mostly stems from trauma, you know. Um, you know, it's like you gotta dig deep and clean out that mess. You gotta lose yourself to find yourself, you know.
Totally. And you mentioned that you believe that there aren't enough resources out there to really help people. What did you see that was lacking and to give people really a chance at a second life? You were lucky enough to get a scholarship and then, of course, find that program and a sponsor. So what do you think that maybe local governments can do in order to fund these projects, and what would you like to see done? I know San Francisco gets millions upon millions of dollars, and we still see this problem persist.
Yeah, because they spend money on like the wrong stuff, you know. There's plenty of money, you know. It seems like they just like would prefer these people to die off or just rotate in and out of prison, you know, which isn't right.
Was there any particular program that you think that should be free to these people that, and how long does it really take? Because I know this is something that is on and off again and it takes a lot of time for somebody to recover.
I mean, you know, AA is free. Um, but it's like what rehab helps with is like stabilizing you physically. You know, like I had to be removed from my environment completely. Like I had to go to rehab for a few months to even like start getting out of the fog. And like it just, you know, they need to legalize everything and take tax money from that and put that into treatment, you know. It's just, you know, and you know, I some of the best people I've met are people I've met incarcerated and in, you know, rehabs and stuff. And like they're just, you know, screwed over by the system, you know. And they're sick people. Like they need to be treated like people with cancer, people with diabetes, you know, any other sickness, you know.
Well, definitely. And it's really inspiring, to say the least, to see you find the resources, take advantage of them, and of course, get across that mountain. So thank you so much for the work that you have put in order to help other people as well, because you've been paying it forward, as we've talked about, and really excited for people to discover that music, and hopefully it creates more change.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Riggy Marz. You can check out his new album, The Alvarado Diaries.